All right, welcome to the Max Chill podcast.
Hi.
Our guest this
Hello.
time is going on a journey. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Maximum chill is being achieved already, I'd say.
Well, you can't hear, but there's music playing on the recording of the podcast.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Covert.
Love
There's a
music.
little hours sampleless hip hop jazz. Okay, now it's fading out because the intro's over. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for coming to our humble chill podcast.
Of course. Yeah, I've never been on a podcast before.
Whoa, really?
So
I'm kind of shocked.
why?
I don't know.
Do I just give off the vibe that like I've podcasted before?
Yeah, you seem like podcast experienced, for sure.
No. I want to start a podcast.
I mean, essentially, your stream is kind of like a podcast.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But I don't talk about anything specific on my stream usually. Yeah.
Seems to be a lot about,
I want to start a bad movie
MySpace.
podcast where I make my friends watch terrible movies with me and then talk to them about it because I really, really like bad movies, but I think most people don't understand like why I like achieve genuine enjoyment from watching terrible movies.
Well, I
so
grew up on Mystery Science Theater 3000, so I understand exactly why.
Yeah. I was in high school, I was the co-president of a bad movie club. Like there was a film club, but like my friend and I decided to start a bad movie club like separate from them. And so we were the co-presidents. We were like pretty much the only two members except for like one other person. So it was really tiny, but we eventually got a bunch of our friends into seeing The Room and we would go see it every month. And then eventually I actually met Tommy Wiseau in San Francisco. Like last minute, my friends was like, Tommy Wiseau's coming to a Room screening in San Francisco. Let's go. And that was insane. I have a signed Tommy Wiseau headshot. I also have a signed copy of the script for The Room.
Wow.
I also met Danjan Jigian,
Amazing.
the guy who played Chris R. He showed up at a screening randomly. We met him. And I also have a plushie of a pug that is dressed in a tuxedo, and when you press its paw, it says, "Oh, hi, doggy." It's official Room merchandise. When I move into my new place, once I move out, I want to have like a little like Room shrine where I can display all of my Tommy Wiseau paraphernalia.
Wow, yeah. You are really
These are
into
the
bad
best
movies. That's the best.
I'm
bad
a
movie.
horror movie fan, so it just kind of comes with the nature of it as well.
There's a
Definitely
lot of
somewhat
bad
into-
horror movies.
Yeah, and there's plenty of good ones as well. Not to trash the genre or anything, but definitely a lot of bad ones you have to sift through or enjoy.
I think the fourth iteration of a series of movies is generally pretty bad anyway. And when you start with something like Final Destination, what's your end result going to be?
Final Destination 4.
Final Destination is actually like, I think it's not horror and it's not terror. It's just straight up anxiety. It's basically like what I imagine if you have agoraphobia, that's what you think going outside will do to you. It's the death scenarios that they have that happen are so insane, but they're also so like specific that you like. I feel like when you watch, I remember I really like was genuinely like scared of Final Destination because even though it's like so ridiculous and stupid and doesn't make any sense, the actual scenes themselves filled me with such like fear and dread about my own mortality. Just like,
Yeah.
I could go outside and like anything, I could get hit by a car.
The people who
And
wrote it
then
are
if
like,
you don't,
we're
it's
really
even
connecting
worse.
with this person. So many people don't get our movie. Like, she gets it.
Yeah, but I wanted to start a bad movie podcast where I get people who like aren't super into bad movies to watch one with me and just like basically torture them into watching something so terrible like Food Fight.
You're the evil
That would be
scientist
fun.
from Mystery Science Theater. That's what you're telling
Yeah.
us.
I guess
Get
so.
guests on to watch bad movies and stuff like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Ghost Stories, the anime, by any chance, or the English dub of it? It was an anime. Nate, if you don't know, it was so terrible in its initial run that when they sold the rights for the English dub, they let the voice actors do whatever they wanted with it, and it was just they like broke the fourth wall at times, just like went ridiculous. It's really funny.
Interesting.
I don't think I've ever seen like a full episode of it. I think I've
Neither
only
have
seen
I.
like compilation clips of it. But yeah, that story is insane. I don't understand how something like that could happen. I'm not even sure if that thing about ghost stories is true. I feel like
Who knows?
I feel like there's a chance that it's actually just a fan dub, and then the fan dub like just came with this lore attached, and people just believed it.
That's good lore.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure like I thought I saw it on Netflix, and I tried watching it, and there wasn't any of that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, but it could have been just like a different anime. I don't know. It seems like a pretty basic title for a TV
Ghost
show.
stories.
It probably sounds a lot better not translated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been to Fight for SoCal at all? Do you ever go down for those?
No, I've never been.
It's like a newer series down there.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going to that this weekend. Actually,
I can't go this weekend, but I'm gonna go next month.
I'm diggity down. Is there? Are you carpooling with anyone, or are you just planning on going and figuring it out? Obviously, it's a little ways away, but
I was thinking about busing it. I didn't even consider that people might be going.
I was
Yeah,
thinking of going to
that's what I'm
Nimbus.
When's
Ooh,
Nimbus?
I've never been to a Nimbus.
It's in March. I think it's March 3rd.
Was like early March.
Yeah. So like kind of
I'm visiting
soon.
my grandpa that weekend. It's his 90th birthday.
90. Oh my
Is he, like,
god.
Nimbus
That's so
90?
old.
Yeah.
How is your grandpa? Like, is he like? Does he have all his facilities?
Oh yeah. He drives. He like golfs.
That's awesome.
He's independent. Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, my grandma's like that on my mom's side. She's just like, she loves to garden. She loves to gamble. Oh my god, she loves to gamble.
Right on.
Hmm?
Right on.
Yeah.
Like what kind of gambling?
She goes. I don't know. She likes to go to the casino. I think she does.
Same mine.
I honestly think she just does a lot of slots, but I think she might play cards too.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess she can do without knowing that much English. I was thinking like maybe she doesn't play cards because her English isn't very good, but you don't really like to play blackjack. Like you just need to understand like hand signals.
Right. In a few words.
Yeah.
How long has she lived in the U.S.?
Let's see. Well, I don't know how old my grandma is. My mom is like 50 something now, and she came here when she was, I think, like 14, 15. I've never been entirely clear on the timeline, but it's been a while. I'll just say that.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize you're like second generation.
I'm first generation.
Or I guess first generation born here, right? That's what it is.
On my mom's side. My mom's Cambodian, and she and her family came here during they had to escape from a communist dictatorship that was very brutal and killed a lot of people, but they all made it out. And yeah, that's where my name comes from. My mom named me after her journey from Cambodia to the US.
That's a really awesome namesake.
Yeah, that's great.
I like it a lot. She just thought that this spelling looked cooler. With
right on for aesthetics.
The IE instead of the EY. And also,
aesthetics
honestly,
have been a thing for ages.
I think that when it's spelled lowercase, the dots on top of the J and the I are very pleasing to look at. That it gives it like a nice little like symmetry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some people don't realize that it's my real name. Like,
Right.
I have to tell people that it's my real name.
Same thing with Whittler.
Oh yeah, that is his real name.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And like D1, that's his real name too. Like obviously it's not spelled letter D, but like that is his name. That's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I saw him tweet about that one time. He's like, when you say it, it sounds like D1.
Yeah.
I like D1. Every time I go to a stream, it feels so good. He's like, I love Nate Gallagher. Like, dude, you're the best.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's just like one of those people who just like doesn't run out of positive energy, which is really refreshing.
Yeah, I'm so not that.
I've only heard good things about him through Ragtime. I haven't interacted with him much, but she loves him as well.
Yeah, he's a sweetie. I also love Rags.
Rags is absolutely amazing. She's like my Smash mom in the scene.
She's everyone's Smash mom. It's crazy how
she's like from my city though.
How much older she is than me, because she looks so young still, and like she's very small.
It's crazy.
And it's like it kind of makes it really awesome talking to her because even though like obviously I know that she's like how old is she, like 30 something?
Yeah.
Like I'm still talking to somebody my age
30.
who is just like infinitely wiser than I am because how much older they are.
She like broke the meta.
Yeah, it's sick. I love talking with Rags.
I used to go into Rags stream as a baby smasher. Like, didn't know hardly anything about Smash.
She's been around for such a long time.
She started our city scene for the most part, like one of our first TOs.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I think it's awesome that the fact that she looks so young and then has been around in the scene for such a long time kind of gives off the vibe that she's like immortal almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like actually insane how long.
Because I think it's like some people see her, they like meet her for the first time, and like based on her age, like you would think that based on how she looks, like you would think that she couldn't have possibly been playing for very long. And so then when people when she beats people and stuff who have never heard of her, who have never played her before, it's like really, really funny to watch.
Yeah.
Because they're like always so shook.
Yeah, she's good. So nice too.
Yeah, she played it. She was in the NorCal Smash Sisters crew.
Let's go. Yeah, I actually didn't end up watching that this year.
At Genesis.
I watched quite a bit of that. That was a fun crew battle. Or I watched the casual crews.
Yeah. So that was my first time working on something like Smash Sisters, and it was surprisingly a lot more stressful than I thought it would be, but it was still really fun to see it all come together and stuff.
Nice. Were you like running the back end and stuff?
Yeah.
I was helping organize it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was like helping get people in like to join the crews and like putting together captains and making sure we knew how many people were entering and like stuff like that.
Making sure people showed up.
On the melee.
Thanks for doing that. Yeah, that can be really hard. It's like people don't get back to you, and it's like yada yada.
Yeah, but I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, more Smash Sisters events would be cool. Like at more of our locals or something. I don't even know.
I mean,
Regionals.
The reason why we can't do that. We just can't because there's just not enough girls at the locals. Like the reason why they only happen at majors is because the more people there are, the more girls there will be, and then a tournament has to be the size of a major for there to be enough women there to have a viable Smash Sisters tournament. Although I think Ultimate will change things. I think things will look a lot different with Ultimate because we noticed that there were a ton more girls at Genesis this year than we saw. It was all in my head, but I talked to other people about it, and they're like, "Yeah, no, definitely, there's like more women here."
I noticed that as well, for
Ultimate
sure.
is a newer game, and so it's like
in a time where it's like cooler to get
or at least at
games.
At Nintendo's marketing today compared to like what they were doing in like the 80s and 90s. Neutral, like there's a lot more like girls in their ads for like the Switch and stuff, where it's like everybody playing together, and it's very much like a family thing. To do with. Also, I think Nintendo has the like somewhat gender neutral video game like studio.
Yeah, it's evident that they try, and they've been trying since like the Wii at least.
All right, you cut out. You're cutting in and out. Oh no.
Check 1, 2. I think it might be on your end. You're cutting in a little bit out.
Cut out a little bit.
It should be fine now. But yeah, whatever it is, there's more girls playing Ultimate than there are playing Melee, and I think that's awesome. And I think that will make it easier for.
Yeah, I'd love to see a point in time where like.
So
Melee
honestly,
is still really popular.
The Melee side of Smash Sisters had it so easy because like we had such a small number of people who wanted to play in the casual and competitive crews. So we had like a nice short little crew battle. Splitting a huge number of girls into crews for casual crews. But on the Ultimate side, it was like really, really hard for them because they had so many more girls than we had, and like they only had 2 setups and stuff.
Oh wow. That's like a terrible problem
to have. That's the problem,
but
you
also
want to
that's
have,
a
right?
problem
is like there's too many girls
that you want. Yeah.
Like that's like the point of Smash Sisters. So complaining about it at all. It was exciting to see.
Oh, are you wearing headphones by chance?
Me?
Journey, are you wearing headphones?
Oh.
I think I can't tell if you're cutting again.
I think it's you.
Really?
I can hear Nate fine, yeah.
Are you wearing headphones?
I am wearing headphones.
Oh, okay, good. Maybe it's just an internet thing.
Yeah, I don't know. My Discord thing says that I'm green, so it says voice connected.
Interesting.
Maybe just lower your voice activation detection thing. But I think it's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be cool if we get to a point in time where like half of the ranked players are women.
Yeah, we might see it with Ultimate, honestly. I think more girls are getting into Ultimate.
But even with Melee, like to have the retroactive growth eventually, or not retroactive growth, but you get what I'm saying, like overflow growth.
I would love to see that too, but I also think that like Melee has to grow again in general for that to happen, and I don't see that happening super like anytime soon, you know.
At least not to the amount it needs to.
Yeah, because Ultimate seems to be like a pretty good game that people are enjoying. Like I know with Smash 4, there are a decent number of Melee players who actually started out as Smash 4 players. And because when Smash 4 came out, they also found out about Melee and started playing that.
Yeah.
But I think with Ultimate being as good as it is, I haven't played a ton of it because I don't actually have a Switch. But from what I have played, like it looks pretty fun, and like from what I've seen, watching games and stuff too, like it looks pretty good, like better than Smash 4. So I don't know if it's something that people would want to leave to play Melee for. So I'm not sure how much Ultimate will like help out the Melee scene. I do think that if we get another Melee dog though, that could really turn things around.
Well, I've heard from players like who are younger than me who are primarily coming in playing Ultimate that they didn't really know much about Melee, but now that they see, they're interested.
Yeah,
That's
as a
good.
Melee streamer, I definitely get a lot of people coming from Ultimate who then say they want to play Melee. But I think there is less people leaving Ultimate comparatively to Smash 4 back for Melee. Um, but I definitely think Ultimate helps out Melee, especially you see the crossover in viewership. Like at Genesis, Melee peaked at a higher viewership than Ultimate. I think that was largely in part to Melee being directly before Ultimate, and more Ultimate players watch Melee than Melee players watch Ultimate afterwards.
Well, I think also like the ultimate top 8 was so much later than it was supposed to be. So viewership dropped off because people like wanted to go to bed, or I guess I think that had a lot to do with it
It
too.
was also after the Super Bowl, though, which I think kind of helped in a way. Melee was scheduled right during the Super Bowl, and Ultimate was right after the Super Bowl finished. Which I
I
honestly
didn't realize
think,
that.
yeah, which plays right a little bit of part of it. Like as Melee Top 8 was finishing, I was in the little lounge room at the Marriott and watching the Super Bowl finish, and then Ultimate came on. Because I definitely think Melee has more. Melee has a lot better of a spectator aspect, even if you know less about the game than Smash 4. Definitely, due to the pacing. Ultimate, I think, is still good, but I think Melee players just watch Ultimate less in general than vice versa.
I don't know what it is. I feel like it's hard for me to say whether Melee is fun to watch. Because I actually play Melee, so I don't know if that's like I feel that's like a very biased opinion, right? So I it's hard for me to like when I show it to my friends, like I don't know how they see it. Like are they just confused or
I
like
don't know.
do they
Before I ever
understand?
played, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't understand like what was happening. That was part of the reason that I started playing. Was I was like, this looks interesting. I want to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I never played Melee as a kid or like had a GameCube or anything. So like I was introduced by my friend watching Genesis 3 Grands and then showing me competitive Melee like 2 weeks later. And then I already had a Wii U, so I started playing Smash 4 a bit. And then I got Net Play and a GameCube in Melee. Um, so I'm very much like a G3 kid. Like I think there's like Dot Kids and then there's like G3 kids and then not really. We'll see what the next one is. Maybe the Samo Doc.
Yeah. Yeah, people are I keep hearing like, "Oh, it's coming out soon. It's coming out soon." And I'm like I feel like there hasn't been anything confirmed. I've heard rumors that it's going to be on Netflix or that he's trying to get some sort of deal with Netflix. Which I
That would
think
be hype.
if that happens, that would be sick.
That happened.
Omega hype.
That's
Shout out to
that's
Kev for that.
huge.
If
Exposure.
that
That's
happened,
so
it
huge.
would.
And I know there's already I've
rival
already
Melee.
I've already seen a few pieces of esports related content on Netflix. I don't know how well
I haven't.
Needs to work with the
those pieces
store.
perform will probably dictate like
Wait, tell me more.
whether
There was.
Netflix
Did they have a
says
TV
yes
series
to
or like a film or
Melee
something?
doc.
What was on Netflix
There's
that had
one
to do with it?
Netflix
Esports?
series called Vox Explained episode on esports. And then I think there's like another documentary. I think it's like a what is it? I want to say it's either I think it's StarCraft. I think it's like a documentary on like some StarCraft players or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all work play. The global rise of esports is charted in this documentary that follows several League of Legends teams en route to an EM. So there's a League one. So it sounds like there's StarCraft one. 7 days out. Netflix documentary 7 days out to feature esports.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the 7 Days Out for who was it? It's Karl Lagerfeld, right? Who's in charge of Chanel? I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Chanel fashion show. 7 Days Out for that, and it was so good. There's so many people behind these extravagant events, and it was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, there's a couple older school ones I forgot that I had watched also. There's Video Games the Movie, which is like the beginning of the games industry. And then there's Indie Game the Movie, which is the one about like Super Meat Boy and the development of that, which was really good. It was like Super Meat Boy, Braid, and Fez. It follows their development. which was kind of the rise like the indie game renaissance, that was a really good thing. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to push esports a little bit more as well.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see. I don't know how long it takes for those types of things to go through.
Yeah, I can see that pushing back a release date a lot, but it would be
if they're like negotiating a lot.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this Super Smash Brothers Melee for the Nintendo GameCube? We don't know anything about it. We're big corporate executives.
No, I'm sure they have people who are somewhat informed. Otherwise, how would they have gotten the other esports content?
Yeah.
You need to hire me.
Hire Trashman as a consultant.
This is an esport.
That would be so hype, though. If the next Melee doc is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would. Damn.
But if it doesn't go on Netflix, like I think that also I heard that he was talking about that he might be interested in other. But these are all rumors. I don't think he's actually said anything himself about it. But
wait,
like,
is it Samox? That's his name, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Same guy who made the last one.
Yeah. But instead of going to Netflix, it would go to like Hulu or something, or Amazon.
Oh, okay.
But that whole thing, that would take forever, you know?
Probably not. I don't know though.
They also might try and push it quicker because of timing. Like, I don't know if they want to wait 2 years of Melee getting smaller to release a Melee doc.
Yeah.
And I don't think Samox would be too hard to negotiate money with for, like, you know what I mean? Like, coming from, like, grassroots Melee, like, I'm sure they could, like, work something out that's, like, very pleasing for both decently quickly.
Maybe I'm just uneducated on the subject, but it would seem like these major corporations would love it if you have a completed product and you're just like, here, I want to put it on your platform. Do you have a way for me to, do this
exclusively?
Well, there's like lawyers involved, and maybe you pitch it to somebody at Netflix, but then that person has to go talk to their manager about whether it's okay to put it on the platform, or like.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Netflix, I could see how that would be harder.
And they have to pay for it too, right? It's not like a Netflix original production, so then they would have, Samox would want to have, you would have to negotiate certain like royalty fees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they might go back and forth and be like, oh, well, no one's ever heard of you, so, maybe we don't want to pay you as much.
The first documentary is good grounds for negotiation, though.
Yeah. How many views does that even have on YouTube? It's like, it's up there. I'll look it up. Can we get the analyst desk?
But, compared to somebody like, I don't know, Angelina Jolie, she released a movie on Netflix. Like, that's a name.
Or like Will Smith and Bright.
2.8 million views.
Yeah, that's not really. Yeah, I get the point though too. 2.8 million views, even in the like YouTube making verse to try and be like a content creator on YouTube isn't like a lot.
Yeah, some people get that many views like every time they release a video.
Yeah,
which is insane.
That is insane.
YouTube is gone, like, because I was a Newgrounds kiddie before YouTube even came out, so like just seeing how the platform has like changed and like being in some of the different like scenes in like their different YouTube communities and like what like a big YouTuber was then and now is like so ridiculous, and like the production value involved.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of YouTube, okay, so I was watching Ludwig's stream and he was watching the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. So I was watching him watch it. And I saw Michelle Fan. And you guys might not know who she is, but Michelle Fan, she pretty much like almost single-handedly revolutionized the way that makeup is sold and the way that makeup is done on YouTube. Like, she was like one of the biggest names, like one of the first people to start uploading makeup tutorials on YouTube. And like anytime you see like a girl who's like 12 years old and she looks like she's 20 because she has like a fully contoured face and like a whole
Just
face
been
of makeup and
watching
stuff like that,
Michelle
like
Pham.
the reason why that girl exists is because of people like Michelle Phan. And like Michelle Phan was one of the like trailblazers of online beauty. And like she's like one of the first like beauty influencers, like purely from YouTube, like not a celebrity who they like put in an ad. Like
Yeah.
she made it herself.
She's my age. She's like 5 months older than me.
Yeah, she was like she was like a huge YouTube icon, and a few years ago she just like disappeared. She like uploaded a tutorial and then she like never came back. She there was no new Michelle Phan videos, and everybody was like, where is she, like what happened to Michelle Phan? She had like a makeup line at this point. She was like putting together these like a subscription service, like a subscription based like you get like little boxes of makeup and other beauty products like every month. She just disappeared off the face of YouTube. And then I think it was like a year after that, she like uploaded this one video that was like animated, and it was just like really vague, talking about like how she's been like finding herself and everything. And then it said that she was going to start uploading again, but then I don't think she ever did. And I saw her on the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Like I hadn't thought of Michelle Phan in like years because she had just disappeared off of YouTube, and like nobody knew who she was.
Was she getting an award for like animation?
No, she was presenting one of the awards.
Oh.
And I was like, wait a second, hang on, that's Michelle Phan. I was shook because like that was like the last place I would expect to see her.
She honestly must need money, like not in a shade way, but like I think that's what that kind of points to.
It was
like,
so weird
because that's like, not even like in character to try and make a comeback or something. Like I guess maybe like minor roles to try and get your face back out there, like take what you can get, but still.
No, but I think what it is, like she never really talked about it a ton on her channel, but she definitely did really like anime and stuff like that, because I remember her doing like I think multiple Sailor Moon looks or something like that. Like she's definitely done looks from anime and stuff like that. But it wasn't just like, it's just, she's like not a person who I think of when I think of anime. So it was really, really weird to see her in that context after only like knowing her from being like a makeup YouTuber.
And just disappearing in general.
Yeah. And then she pops
like,
up
not
again
like
randomly.
looking like she's like trying to network hella hard and is like trying to expand.
She looked really different too. Like her makeup wasn't like nearly as like Instagrammy as it was before. Like she looked really natural actually.
Like she didn't even let the backstage people go at her. She's like,
no, she definitely had makeup on.
Basic stage makeup.
Yeah, it was very, very minimal compared to what the looks that she made when she was on YouTube.
That's really interesting. I love that story. That's like, I don't even know who Michelle Phan is, and now I'm super interested. I like that story.
She was just like a really big part of girl culture. Like I remember, I think I was like, when she first started making videos, I must have been like 10 or 11 years old and just getting into makeup, like makeup that I had to like steal from my mom's purse because I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. Yeah, and she would do these tutorials, and there, like before her, there was not really an easy way to learn how to do makeup. Like you just learned it from watching your mom do it, and my mom didn't wear makeup like ever. So yeah, there's like the awkward phase almost doesn't exist for young girls anymore because of how easy it is to learn how to do makeup now. My makeup back in the day, you looked like shit because we didn't have like 1,000 different beauty channels that telling us exactly how to do a cat eye, you know?
It is interesting to think about.
These young girls are out there doing research and practicing and honing their skills before they ever go out on the street.
Yeah. And not just girls, but like I feel like there's more boys wearing makeup too. Like a lot of these beauty gurus are actually like young boys, and I think that's really cool too.
I know a lot of boys who wear makeup over here. I don't know if it's because of YouTube.
Yeah. Do they how do they wear their makeup? Do they just like just make their skin look nice, or
I was thinking the ones that wear like more makeup, like eyes, other stuff.
yeah, like a Kardashian?
Like I'm being serious. Just
That's like big in like photography culture, especially in like Sacramento and stuff, and a lot of the like prepper schools. Like I went to a prep school in like Sacramento. There's a lot of different like pretty much like any look you could possibly think of was like at one of the three schools surrounding me. Like that was like the one nice part about growing up. I think at least like in Sacramento and NorCal is you get like exposed to about like any different like form of culture possibly could.
yeah. It's like and it's more normal to just be like, hey, I'm gonna treat you different person, just like any other person. What's up?
Yeah, for sure. It's it makes it kind of like shocking when you go to a place that's not like that though. Like you kind of forget that other places aren't always like that.
You like reel back for a moment.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this still exists in the world."
Yeah.
Um yeah, like I went to Japan and I stayed at a hostel, so I met a lot of other foreigners, a lot of other tourists at this hostel that I was staying at. And I met these Canadian guys, and one of them just straight up was like being very like anti-brown, which is like a very specific and like somewhat, at least to me, like not a type of racism that I'm accustomed to hearing.
It's like more
But he
thought
was
out.
basically calling Indians like stinky, and at first I thought he was maybe just like playing a character, like pretending to be racist, but he was just straight up like being unabashedly
Yeah.
racist.
And then you're like,
And I was like,
yucky.
"Oh, okay. Hmm. So, I guess it's not 2019 everywhere." Well, this was last year, so it would have been 2018. But still, yeah, it was super weird cuz growing up in the Bay Area, I mean, it's not that it doesn't exist at all here. Like it totally does, but it's still like I don't know.
It
It's
seems
not
like the norm
common.
to kind of like do your own thing and let other people do their own thing in the Bay Area for the most part. Obviously, there's like a whole bunch of people who suck.
Yeah. But that's like, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of like part of why I wanted to come back here instead of staying in Portland after college.
Yeah, I've been to Portland. It's like not as cool.
It's very white. It's the whitest major American city. Yeah. I remember I drove like maybe like 15 minutes out of Portland and I saw a pickup truck with Confederate flags on it.
Ooh.
And it's like
That's actually kind of like that happens a
it's
decent amount
weird.
around my area.
It's not weird. I don't want to say it's like weird, but it's just like it's interesting that defenders of the Confederate flag will say that it's about like heritage and not hate, and that it's like just because it was a flag associated with trying to break apart an entire country just so that you could own black people as slaves, that it had nothing to do with white supremacy. But then you see them in places like Oregon, and it's like, oh, weird. I don't remember Oregon being part of the Confederacy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because now it's
so
like a
how do
personal
you
Bringing
thing
in,
for
it's
so
like
them.
yeah,
bringing
so
an
like
issue
how do you
somewhere
claim it's part of
else.
your heritage if you're not in the South? Like, it's
And it's
very
also like a lot
obviously
of like 24, 19-year-olds that are like so farly disassociated with that heritage, like in Portland, either like most likely born there, but like even giving the benefit of the doubt, like I don't. It's just like
It's kind of like dressing up like an anime character and being like, I don't like anime. What are you talking about? You look like you like anime.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why the Bay Area is better.
This guy in the back roads in NorCal one time, we went to the farm sanctuary for like Thanksgiving with the turkeys, where we feed the turkeys pie. Anyway, the story's not about that.
Wait, can turkeys eat pie?
It's probably turkey pie.
Yeah, they can eat pumpkin pie. They love it.
Aw.
It was obviously vegan pumpkin pie because they're vegan. And then on our way back, my mom had to turn around. So she's like turning around. This huge truck comes around the corner. And the guy like screams at her. He's like, "Move, lady, before you die."
Holy shit.
And that's like the truck with the flag on it. It makes me think of that attitude. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things end up going hand in hand and trying to ignore a lot of the obvious elephants in the room.
No shade to anybody who owns a pickup truck, but I will say that most of the time that I've been slighted on the road, it has been by somebody driving a pickup truck. Almost every time I see an aggressive driver, it's a pickup truck. Like, they're tailgating me. They're like cutting through. It's so weird because it's not a car that's built for speed, but for some reason they just want to go so fast. Like, I don't understand. It's like, and also they're so big, like they're just kind of obnoxious looking even outside of that you can't help but notice them. Like they're so wide, and something about that feels very rude to me. Like, how dare you take up so much space with your car? Like really, like, how big of a truck do you need? Like, how much heavy lifting are you actually doing? Like,
especially in like the Bay Area,
going to Home Depot like once a week or like once a month. You know what I mean? So when I see a pickup truck that's like huge like that, it just pisses me off on like a fundamental level, because it's like you know that this thing is just getting in the way, like. And it's worse. The worst. Oh my god, the worst is when a pickup truck is parked in a compact parking spot.
Tell me about
that. That shit
more.
Pisses me the fuck off. When I was in college, first of all, the parking passes are exorbitantly expensive. They are fucking charging you an arm and a leg just to park on the campus where you already pay tuition to go to. They're like $200 or something, and then there's almost no parking. Like, so you pay this much money to just like maybe not even find a parking spot.
And the whole front row is all for the teachers, right?
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, and then there's like a bunch of reserved. Yeah, it's stupid. And sometimes like the compact spots is like that's the all you can get. And when a pickup truck is parked in one of those things, you like can maybe squeeze your car into the spot next to it, but you won't be able to physically remove your body from the car because it's so tight.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. It's so annoying. And you're like running late for class, and like you're even more late because you can't get out of your fucking car because there's a pickup truck parked in the
I hope you
what's
have
supposed to be a compact spot.
I saw a picture of like a truck that was parked in two compact spots. Like this huge truck, so it basically takes up both of them. Mm-hmm. And the people parked their cars so close to it that it couldn't get out. Like after he had already parked that way, they went and like cramped it completely in. And this guy was like yelling at them. It's funny.
Well, good. Maybe he shouldn't have parked in two compact spots.
Yeah, he was like doing it just.
You can't have it both ways. That's the thing. It's like when you should know that. I think anytime anybody buys a pickup truck, they need to sign a little thing that says they're not going to park in compact spots, and that they understand that by purchasing a pickup truck and by driving one, that they are not allowed. There's just sacrifices that you need to make. You know, every car has pros and cons. Pros of a pickup truck: you can put lots of stuff in it. You turn it into a hot tub potentially. Cons, no parking in the compact spot. And that's like when you buy a pickup truck, that's what you should know that you're getting into that. You should just
yes, sir, we're
resign
impounding
yourself
your
to
truck.
the fact
You signed
that you
this
are
waiver.
You're signing away your right to park in a compact spot. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna get a pickup truck, and then also pretend that you live a compact life when
The
you
parking
don't.
police need like
Compact life.
the parking police need like a special crimes unit for this,
They're called like parking enforcement.
just devoted to, decommissioning trucks from owners that aren't following the compact spot rule.
They should like compact the trucks that they find in compact spots to fit size standards, like crush the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a little excessive, but yes, they should.
But
do
why
that.
though? Because like, why do they have to park there in the first place? It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's so I live in Redacted, and there's a town like 15 minutes over that also has the same type of gym that I have a membership to, and they had a Zumba class one morning when I wanted to go, and the one right by my house did not have a Zumba class at that time, so I decided to drive to the next town over to go to that gym instead. And it's like really close to like farmland. Like there's a lot more farmland there. Like I live in a suburb, but it's like just not. It's like not. It's almost rural. Like it's a suburb, but it's like the further out you drive, like the more rural it gets. This town is only like 15 minutes away. In that span of time, I feel like the amount of pickup trucks that I saw just increased exponentially. Like it was insane. Like all of a sudden there was just pickup trucks everywhere. And I couldn't navigate this parking lot, this like small gym parking lot, because there were so many pickup trucks.
At least it
to like
points
where I
to
live.
probably more like utilitarian uses of it, like correct uses of it. If there's a lot more farmland and stuff, they might actually be being used.
Yeah, but that's also.
But still, it's just obnoxious.
That part of.
And it's the kids of them who aren't farmers that are also buying pickup trucks.
But that part of town is also like more conservative too.
I think all three of those go hand in hand.
Yeah. It's crazy though. Like every time I see these pickup trucks, they're so clean. Like they don't look like they've been like doing work,
Kids are the one that leave the farm.
Like out there in the dirt, mudding or whatever.
I'll bet those guys aren't even forklift certified.
Well, they're not driving forklifts, Nate, so I don't think they have to be. Let's not dig too deep here.
Well, I mean, like, but that's just obviously if you're forklift certified, you're gonna qualify for a truck. I see that as how that goes. If anybody wants to argue that point,
where do trucking licenses fall on this?
Like, if you have an actual trucking license,
yes.
Yeah, pick up.
Does that make you overqualified for a truck?
You might be overqualified. But you can't take your 18-wheeler everywhere, right? When you go to McDonald's, you got to downsize.
So, Nate, I was thinking about this. You were talking about how some of the like price gouges of these melee traveling endeavors are if you need a driver. And I'm sure that part of that has to be that they have to be like certified. There is a melee player in Sacramento that is a certified driver and like does like cross country trucking as his job. Would he be able to alleviate some of the costs by driving one of these said buses or something? And then we wouldn't need a driver and we could have an actual, like, we could paperwork and everything to make this dream happen. And for anybody who's curious what we're talking about like the logistics around either like a fifth wheel in a truck or a fifth wheel van and then like our van or a bus or something and like traveling around to different tournaments with like
a tour bus, like a melee tour bus.
Yeah, kind of like a NorCal sponsorship of players and like picking up people on the way.
That would be so sick.
Like, I want to do this and bring all streaming equipment. We could record, stream, do whatever.
That also sounds like hell, though. I will say that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like.
I think being trapped in a small moving space with a bunch of Melee players is not really my idea of a good time.
That's like Trey and I's comfort zone.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. That's just like I think that's just like I think it's a really really good idea for getting a lot of people to out to like a SoCal tournament or something.
Think of this though. So you have it set up that people can sign up to be picked up at different locations we stop at, and then we drive them to whatever tournament they want to go also that we're going to along the way. And then they only need flight back from whatever tournament that is. They get pseudo housing along the way. They get to hit whatever locals we hit. They don't have to be there for the whole trip. They like Nate talked about like 24-hour memberships, but we find a way and like get like housing connections on the way with everyone and maybe places to stop, things like that. Like I don't know, I think we can make it like kind of worth it to where it's like a cheaper way to travel, even, and then like non-NorCal players or something hop along on the way and get off and like maybe like pay a small fee to help like cover travel costs legitimately, but like make it extremely affordable compared to like anything else. Like I don't know, I think there could be like some legitimacy to it.
I mean,
at least in like the
definitely
summer.
just be a single van for sure.
Dude, a fifth
To start
wheel.
with, maybe
You should get an old school bus and do that thing where you like renovate it and turn it into something sick.
Yeah, but then
Exactly.
that's super hard to drive. Like you need somebody who knows what they're doing, like Trey was saying.
Like a certified driver.
I'm not going to drive that. I don't drive anyway.
DP is a good driver. He's drove a tour bus type thing, like one of those party buses down from Sacramento to Las Vegas for a tournament. Literally what we're talking about. It was like sponsored by SK92 in one of the gaming lounges down there.
See, it's been done. We should make it happen. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. We've been going for quite a while now.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said it was a side track because that implies that there was like a main track.
You're right. It felt like it came out of nowhere, but that's okay. That's what Mac Show podcasts are for.
Big chillin'. This is a nice chill out from the 3 days of tournaments and travel from Oakland to Davis. Well, Oakland back to SAC to Davis back to SAC to San Francisco back to SAC. It's been long.
Yeah, that's actually insane. Davis, ugh, that's so far.
It's like 25 minutes.
Oh, from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, from me, it's like I never go in that direction either. It's like I pretty much almost never go north, like that far north.
It's like right in between me and the Bay.
Yeah. Oh, Nate, did you say you wanted to talk about Curious Cat?
Oh yeah, Curious Cat.
What did
I
you
have
want to
zero
talk
idea
about?
what this is.
So Curious Cat is like a Twitter app, I guess, where you can ask people anonymous questions. And a lot of people, I see them posting about it. Journie posted about it. And I never know what to ask. Usually I'm like, I'm going to go ask a question. And I think about it and I'm like, I don't really have a question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I made a Curious Cat just for shits and giggles, like while I was in Japan. And I think I used it for like a few days, but it was like I was getting so many questions and then I felt bad about posting them to my Twitter because then it was like all that people were seeing and like I just don't want to do that to people. But I mainly just got like, I mean, I guess I could go to my Curious Cat and see which questions I got. I think I mainly just got like standard like girl on internet questions like, oh, what's your bra size? Stuff like that.
That was
Snooze.
Ask FM back in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was in middle school it was Form Spring.
I'm only 19, so I'm definitely on like the younger curve of things. We've had like Snapchat and Instagram for the long haul now.
Yeah, and at that time, like, I was not into social media. I missed the whole MySpace. Watching your stream, I've
I was a
actually learned like
MySpacer.
what MySpace is all about. I didn't know.
MySpace is sick.
MySpace was insane, dude. I was on MySpace when I was like 12 and my parents told me I wasn't allowed to have a MySpace. Um and yeah, it was just crazy. It was just like um a bunch of like scene kids and like teenagers just wearing the most
Yeah.
insane shit, and like I had like a background on my MySpace profile that like changed colors and shit like that. It was like neon. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, I have some curious cat questions that I haven't answered. There's one here that says, what's 32 terabytes? And I think somebody asked me what my bra size was, and I said it was 32 terabytes as like a joke.
Oh yeah.
Because
I like that response.
usually when men ask about bra, like they don't have any idea how bra sizes work, like at all. So like you could tell them anything, and they'll be like, "Oh wow!" Like they don't fucking know. So like if you say 32 terabytes, it's like it sounds like something, but it's not, and it's just dumb.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's just
Delete
like
system
standard
32.
girl on internet. Like, why do people? What possesses?
I don't know why people ask me that either, because it's like, are you planning on buying me lingerie? Like, it doesn't actually mean anything. Like, because if you don't know how bra sizes work, then you just don't understand. I don't know. It's weird.
I agree. I hardly know, and I'm older, and I'm married. I launder the bras in this household.
You have to wash them by hand.
Really, you think that's the best?
Wow, Nathan called out.
It's in cold water. I don't know. In the water.
Yeah, you want to wash them by hand in warm water with a very gentle detergent, and just like basically you like very gently like agitate the fabric, and then just leave it to soak in the soapy water for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then take it out and lay flat to dry. You can't hang bras to dry because the weight of the fabric as it's drying can warp the cups. So it's all very time. That's why most girls do not wash their bras very often. It's kind of gross. It's like a little gross thing that we do because it just like is so time intensive. And like a lot of people will just wear like the same bra over and over again because it can be really hard to find one that fits you perfectly. So you don't often have a lot of options. It's all very complicated. And the point I'm trying to make is that it's very complicated and nuanced, and then guys don't understand this, and they act like it means something to them when I say 32G or something. Do you know what I mean? They truly don't know.
They truly don't know.
Somebody asked me, could you by chance spare some coochie, miss?
Oh god.
Not doesn't even say please, so absolutely not. Somebody asked, do I want to feel their ding ding?
Like, and I hope
these are the types of, and these are things that like I haven't answered.
But it probably is somebody I know.
I haven't answered any of these on Twitter because I just don't feel like entertaining these dumb questions. Somebody just said gamer ...
You're a fake gamer.
No, it just says gamer. Like I don't even know. It's honestly more mysterious than malicious.
Oh. Played survival horror games.
Or I'll just leave a positive comment. If I can't think of a question, I'll just say something nice about the person.
Yeah.
I'm curious. On like an ask me dot.
Or like a copy pasta.
Do you have a curious cat?
I have a curious cat.
Have one?
I don't.
I haven't got any questions, but I do have one.
I think it might be fun to just, instead of answering them on Twitter, just answer them like on stream one day or something.
Yeah, that's a better way to do it, I think, at least for some of the dumber ones. So like there's some that I think are like beneficial for more people to see and like are like good interaction for like Twitter and stuff like that, but Other ones are just like funny content
Yeah.
and like lose some of the funniness when you
I mean,
like tweet
yeah,
it.
and the other thing is too is like those aren't the only ones that I've gotten. Like I've gotten nice ones too. So it's like not all bad, but it can get pretty bad pretty quickly if you have like a really really big following or just like a lot of people know who you are. People just want to make you feel shitty for some reason because I've seen people get absolutely like berated in their curious cat things, and it's like that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Happens on all platforms, but an anonymous question asking one definitely tends to be a little more toxic at times than others.
Yeah, I wish people would like realize that that's not nice. It's the same as if you were saying it to someone's face, which I think most of them would not.
Yeah.
Could you spare me some coochie miss?
Yeah, like, is anybody coming up to you and saying that at a tournament? No.
Thankfully, no. No.
Yeah, let's leave it on Curious Cat, but let's get rid of it on Curious Cat as well.
Yeah.
Leave it for the time being if you have to express it.
If you wouldn't say it in front of everybody, why are you saying it on the internet to anybody?
And if you would say it in front of anybody, you still don't.
Yeah, this has been a PSA from Maximum Chill. Before
that's not meant chill.
Before you ask somebody a question on Curious Cat, think to yourself, could I live without doing this?
Yeah.
And then, maybe don't. Just don't.
Just don't. Well, we met Journie. I think we just started interacting in different chats. Oh no, I met you at Genesis Red. You were sitting down with Hugo, and I sat down, and we had a conversation. That's where we met.
Really? It was Genesis Red?
Mm-hmm. Just for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and you were funny, and I was like, wait a minute, what's your Twitter? And then I started following you on Twitter from then on.
Yes. That's also when Hugo started following me on Twitter.
Oh, right on. I got like the impression that you knew each other. Did you just know Rags?
No. So I had met Hugo the day before because we were both staying with ep2, another fellow Melee podcaster. We were both staying at his house for the tournament. So I had met him the day before that. But yeah, I didn't know Hugo before that weekend. That was also the same weekend that I met Hugo for the first time.
That's crazy. And then
we've been homies ever since.
We've both been Hugo subs like since that time.
Yeah.
For me, off and on.
I wasn't really a big Twitch interactor until I started streaming myself, honestly. Then now I'm like a big Twitcher.
Yeah, no, it's a weird thing. I remember I went to a tournament and I saw somebody on their phone watching Hugo's stream, and I was like, oh hey, I also I watch Hugo's stream a lot. I like introduced myself, and the guy was like, oh, you're Journie, you're going on a journey. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. Like, I never shut up in the chat, so I guess you would have seen my name a lot. And it's just like really very very odd for somebody to like know you from somebody else's content. Like that's like a weird thing, right? Because it's like it makes it seem like the person's stream is a place where you go, like a place, like a coffee shop or something. Like, oh hey, like I see you at this Starbucks, but it's not a real physical place.
But it's a real place. Like that though.
Yeah, but it's very odd.
A real place.
Is what I'm trying to say.
It's
is that it's like it's odd for somebody to like
it's the trash can
to like recognize your name from. It's like
I
it's
used
a weird
to think it was
experience.
really weird. I'm like making more peace with it now.
Yeah,
I understand.
I don't think it's bad either. I think it's just like it's not thing bad or thing good. It's just thing weird.
I like weird things. Not all weird things, but there's some weird things I like.
Like what?
Like that one. Or like putting it sounds weird, but putting potato chips on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Have you ever tried it?
No.
Putting my shoe on after my first sock. I don't do that, but that's weird. I can see someone liking it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you mean going sock shoe?
Yeah, going like
exactly what I'm referring to.
Instead of
from
sock
bare
shoe.
feet
Well,
to,
so I don't wear shoes inside of my house, so all of the I like physically cannot do that unless what I would have to do is instead of just getting dressed and putting my socks on in my room, I would get dressed in everything except my socks. And then I would have to go downstairs and find my shoes on like our little shoe cubby thing.
Possibly
then,
have to tuck the socks underneath the pants.
Yeah, and then put on a sock and then a shoe and then a sock and then a shoe. And that sounds incredibly inconvenient, and I would rather just put on my socks together.
Hypothetically, would you do the tucking at once after both shoes are on, or in sequence with each sock?
I don't know. I would probably do sock, shoe, tuck. No, I would do sock, tuck, shoe, sock, tuck, shoe if I were to do it that way. But if I'm wearing really tight pants, I make sure to put on my socks first before putting on the pants.
Yeah, that's
really, really annoying to try and like.
Agreed.
Yeah. Or I just wear those like shorter socks.
I'm not as big of a fan of those.
Are there any questions from chat or anybody?
There's not. Toucan earlier asked who's racist, but it wasn't really pertinent. He just came in late to a conversation.
Gotcha.
Shout out Toucan.
Do you know Toucan? Journey?
Toucan. I know who he is. You're talking about Diplomatic Toucan, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we've met in person, but I do know who he is.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with him a little bit more over the last year at tournaments, and we roomed together at Smash Camp.
Oh, how was Smash Camp? Man, I'm sad I didn't go.
It was fun. It was cold. It snowed.
Toucan got 5th.
Yeah, Toucan did really well.
I'm surprised that it snowed, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't go because I definitely wouldn't have been prepared with like chains or anything.
Oh, not only that, but like there's no food there. Like bring all your food.
I mean, it's camping, so.
It is camping. It is real camping. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And there were a lot of homies there.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
I recommend going next year. I don't think I can go next year.
We'll see. I do want to go to more tournaments this year. But it's somewhat expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to get places. Especially like if you don't work a lot.
Yeah, I don't have a job right now, so it's kind of annoying because it's like right now because I don't have a job, like the only thing keeping me from going to tournaments is money, but I have all the time in the world, right? I don't have any obligations, so I can, like, if I did have a ton of money, I could just go to whatever tournaments I wanted to. But then when I get a job, like, I'll have money to go to tournaments, but I won't have the time because I'll have a job, so I won't always be able to take time off of work and go to tournaments.
Yep.
Oh, they're inverse problems. Full-time streamers and full-time pro gamers don't know how good they have it.
Yeah. Maybe they do. I hope they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Do you ever use Photoshop?
Do I ever use Photoshop? Like, in general, or like...
Yeah, like, have you done stuff with Photoshop?
Not a ton with Photoshop, no. I've done like... What have I done with Photoshop? Like, honestly, really, like, small things, like collages and stuff like that. But it's like... I don't always have access to Photoshop. I had a school computer that had Photoshop already pre-installed, but then I didn't have it for a really long time. but I've used like what is it? I've used Snapseed. So I'll edit pictures on my phone a lot. So Snapseed is like an app from Google that's basically like Photoshop.
Snapseed?
Snapseed, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's just more for just like correcting color and stuff like that.
I see.
I've never done anything extreme. Some people do these like insane Photoshop transformations where they like take a picture of one person and then like completely transform them into like a celebrity just by using Photoshop, and it's so crazy. I don't understand
I'm
how
gonna
it
have to look
works.
that up.
People are crazy with some, like, pretty much with like any program there is. There's people who push it to the absolute limits. It's cool to
Yeah.
see.
I don't know Photoshop on that level.
I do it very basically. I was working on an overlay today for a tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, I can do like the overlays type stuff, but that's way more straightforward than doing, high
Yeah.
level manipulation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mainly just edit photos to make them look like have better contrast or stuff like that. Just like little
Not
tweaks here and there.
blurry.
Yeah. I like taking the space photos that are usually like fully exposed to get the maximum amount of light. And just like messing with the levels to bring most of it out, most of that background noise. So it's just fewer stars and just fully black background. I think it looks more like space, even though it's still...
Hey.
Like when I think of space, I feel like it's empty.
No, but it's so
Yeah,
full.
fuck those real pictures of space with all the shit in it. It's real space is empty.
Real space is full of so much. And it has to be, because if it weren't, then we wouldn't be
We
here.
are space.
Or I feel like it's more realistic. If you were floating in space, your human eyeballs do not see as much light as the highly overexposed photos of like the gamma ray bursts and whatever astronomy picture of the day has found. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just because it's really far away, though.
Yeah. They focus on a point super far away, and then they try to get a ton of light. Like they'll expose it for 2 weeks if they want to do some really long ones.
That's insane.
I'll expose you. No, I wouldn't do that.
Was that your dog?
That was my dog. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
She likes.
What's your dog's name again?
Shadow.
Yeah, I really like your dog.
She's a sweetheart. Trey, you met Shadow, right? She really liked Hugger Mugger. Do you know Hugger Mugger?
No.
Aaron, he's a San Francisco State Luigi player.
I feel like I don't know any San Francisco San Francisco players.
Yeah, the SF State Club has a lot of just really nice people.
That's why they make you sign a niceness waiver when you go to their tournaments.
It's a niceness
nice.
waiver, really?
No, I mean you sign their code of conduct as well.
Yeah, you signed the code for sure.
Which is like a niceness conduct in layman's terms. The laymen who don't know what code or conduct means.
Yeah.
And there's no panel. Although there is a panel. It's Jade, Emery, Blarg.
So there is a panel.
Nathan, Zach.
Seems like the opposite of not being a panel.
Okay, yeah, but they don't call it a panel.
What do they call it?
I think technically Jade makes all the decisions. And everyone agrees that Jade has everyone's best interests at heart.
Interesting.
I was going to say something and accidentally coughed. I forgot.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not a big fan of like the overarching melee like panel. I can see like panels for like smaller things, but like because then I feel like it puts because everybody was down for it when they made decisions they agreed with, and the second they like disagreed with decisions, they then were all up against the panel. But I think you should put the onus more on your region's TOs because ultimately that's what it comes down, and just like fostering better regions in general. And like talking about issues is one thing, but like making an arbitrary panel to like of people that you don't even know who are on it to make decisions for the like quote unquote everyone. I don't know. I just found that interesting. And the second that the whole unfortunate mafia debacle where they just like put out the most asinine like redaction.
I talked to Dr. Piggy at Genesis 6. So I think there's more information now if you want to go. It was the Melee Classic. It was not a lot of information up front, and then like afterwards there's a lot more to understand.
That's also kind of their thing though.
I think it's okay to have something like that as long but I think like a lot of kinks definitely need to be worked out. And the other thing is too is like ultimately nobody has to do what they say, and like it's impossible for them to enforce what they say, but I think what their goal is like for them to become a trusted enough voice to where if a region disagrees with what they say, it's like very frowned upon. But, you know, it's not a legal organization.
But are the members even public though? I thought that was a big issue at the beginning too. Is that like nobody even knew who the members were, and that it was like
the members
discussion around it were private. So there's like, how can you have trust with something you don't even know? And then everybody gets upset when they overturn a decision, and there's nobody to like point to. That it's like it makes no sense.
Yeah, it would be kind of like if we didn't know who we were voting for.
Yeah, and it's like if you're trying to have discussion about something, like coming as a like I don't know, like a private conglomerate voicing their opinions as rules is like a weird way to go about bringing light to the conversation when they know it doesn't, like you said, people ultimately don't have to follow it. And I think it's good to have like a group of people that say things that a majority of people do agree with. And I think that's how you like start setting like standards in communities, especially a community that has had issues. But like the way it's been gone about is ridiculous. And I don't think it like promotes any of that. I don't know. It's been like a rough ride with that, but I don't like disagree.
It's not
with
like
the,
a
like,
plus to
thought in mind.
Accountability.
It's still new, so I have faith that it can be reworked and grow and be a positive contribution to the scene. But yeah, the first thing with Mafia, that was pretty rough. But
yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a way to keep people safe and allow for redemption if that's possible.
Yeah.
And like, just like also though, you don't like necessarily even have like I don't know, like you don't always necessarily even have to like have like room for redemption for a lot of things. Like this is not only is this like a totally arbitrary and optional like activity in your life, but like you didn't have to make the decisions that led to redemption in the first place. So I just feel like it's like a double, like you don't have to be here. So it's like you get less leeway and like room for redemption.
Thinking like versus football. Let's say it becomes more formalized where it's like, yeah, something happened, you have to pay a fine or be suspended for a certain amount of time, like the rest of the calendar year for something. Like, and it might be for things that we now consider not a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for what issues then? Because, like, the football, like, if you want to talk about, like, the NFL.
Like, if somebody has done something
like,
outside of the game, right?
The NFL is probably one of the most corrupt corporations, like, in the world. I don't know. Like, I have a lot of things to talk about. The NFL is, like, probably the worst, like, thing to point to.
I'm not saying use them as an example. I'm just saying, like, they have to deal with it. They have ways in place. We don't even have the ways in place.
I think they're poor though, and I think they're all are built around how popular of a player it is and how much money they make, and they sweep things like domestic abuse under the rug all the time. And I think it's like an awful way that they deal with it as well.
Yeah,
And like
that's
players
valid.
like my uncle.
I don't know
like,
enough about it
yeah,
because I
like,
literally know nothing about the NFL.
my uncle is
But
the
I've
player
heard
who just won the
like
lawsuit
news
against the
articles where
NFL.
they're saying somebody has to pay or somebody's
Yeah.
What was the
expelled.
lawsuit?
Like, do you know the movie Concussion with Will Smith?
Yeah, I watched that.
No.
The guy who Will Smith plays in that movie is one of my uncle's doctors. He's the only surviving NFL player with 9 brain surgeries. He won the first Super Bowl for the Niners with like Joe Montana and Dan Bunce and all that stuff. And pretty much like things like he at one point, one of the big things that's been pointed to is that he had a seizure in the training room of the Niners facility, and they had him drive himself to a Stanford medical facility, so it wasn't on record of him being introduced at their facility for a head injury. Things like that, like recorded conversation, like testimonies from secretaries talking about how like coaches of the Niners would talk about how he was never going to be playing again and they were going to be cutting him, but at the same time making him like play in practice every day with head injuries and things like that. There's a lot of like corruptness that has like happened in the NFL. Also, the fact that it's a nonprofit just kind of like points to how backwards it is in the first place.
It's a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They're definitely profiting though.
Oh, like billions of dollars.
So how does that work?
The way anything works is like when you have enough money, like you can like very genuinely like that. I don't know. It sounds like kind of like black hatty or whatever, but it's like very honestly how it is. And like when you not only that, but think about the fact that like how big the NFL is for something like ESPN, and then Disney owns ESPN along with like 75% of other watch media outlets. Like there's so much pressure to like keep the NFL as big it is. Like the Super Bowl alone has like such ridiculous pull that there's just too many parties to
But the
closely
point
associated.
I wasn't trying to make any point about the NFL. All I'm saying is like when something happens with a player in the NFL, they acknowledge it. They make
But,
them
like,
sometimes pay money or do something to make up for it,
Not-
or they get kicked out permanently.
Depending, not really though. Like there's literally players who like get like pretty much found like everything but like guilty in court of law, like for countless like things on.
Well, what about
Literally
having
video.
melee players pay money though? That's what I'm saying. That's the point. Is what if
To,
we had
like to who
to melee? I don't know, to their local tournament.
that just like I would rather just. But my point is that I don't think that that's like retribution. Like I don't want Nightbear to pay his way back into the community. Like
Yeah, isn't this whole thing why the Catholic Church had a big schism? Like,
Exactly.
or this is like why Martin Luther made a big call out post when he put the 1990 season.
reparations.
His
and
whole
stuff
thing,
like
his whole thing was that he didn't think people should be allowed to buy their way back into heaven, and
Yeah.
that's what was happening.
paying reparations for sins.
Yeah,
Instead of like saying 50
or like
Hail
aren't they
Marys, they would
called
tell you to
like
pay like
sacraments?
no reparations are like what you pay to like your church and stuff like that.
No,
But
it's more like an
sacraments-
acknowledgement. Like
Sins are like the bad things you do. Sacraments are like the different steps in like your Catholic journey. So like there's like anointing of the sick is a sacrament, and that's like right before you die you can get that sacrament. And they, like,
Yeah.
when you're like 12
then
years
what
old,
am I thinking of?
you're thinking of confession. Like you go to confession and you speak with a priest, and he alleviates you of your sins if you like acknowledge them and own up to them and like try attempt to do
just
better
like
in your life.
think of
But
a
the use of-
situation where it's appropriate to have a player, whatever their conduct issue has been. Think of a
Like
situation
what?
where it's appropriate for them to
Like what if Wobbles
to
punches
pay
the
in
wall
order
at
to come
Summit? Like
yeah, it puts a hole in the wall in the venue, and then the
Like,
TOs get charged, right? Let's say
yeah, like sure. I think that's like pretty
you're
obvious though.
suspended.
And I don't think you need a
can't
melee
play in a
community for
tournament
that
for 2
though.
weeks, and
I
you
feel
have
like
to
that's,
pay
like-
for what you did. You know what I mean?
I feel like you can just put that on your Smash GG thing. And like if you sign up for the tournament and like they literally like vandalize a venue, like there's like more ways to go about that. Like they could have proceeded like legal act, like you know what I mean? Like they could have just threatened Wobbles with legal action. I'm sure he would have paid to repair it if he didn't already. You know what I mean? Like you can't just like punch walls. that's already like frowned upon?
I remember what I was thinking of. I was thinking of indulgences, which were like forgivenesses that you could buy.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
You'd be like,
yeah.
I'm totally chaste, except for all these ones that I paid for. But I paid for them, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
Planning a vacation, I'm going to go buy some indulgences.
I don't know. I just think that like communities need to take more. I think discussion needs to be brought to light, and that's all that needs to be done with it. And then I think that communities need to take more onus along with like TOs and pressuring TOs. And if you have bad TOs, getting them out of the way. And like very honestly, like even if it takes like approaching venues, which a lot of the times TOs have like good relationships with venues, so it doesn't always work. But like places like Friday Night Turn Up, like at venues like that, if you were to approach them and be like, hey, a large majority of our community is not comfortable with this person being a TO. Here's a replacement person who is already established. We believe you would do a good job, and our community would feel more comfortable, but we would still like to keep you as a venue. And we think it would be better for the both of us if we could move forward if you sever ties with this TO. Like similar things have happened at ESA and whatnot. And I think that that's like a better way to go about it than of like secret council. I don't know.
Yeah, you think it's just like mass movement?
Not even like mass movement, just like the way that like anything gets changed is like that's like ultimately like how like because at the end of the day there's like always going to be people who like don't like being told what to do, which is like even if they like mean well. And like it's just like the similar thing happened in like Sacramento recently. There was like a poll in Sacramento about banning wobbling out of nowhere made by somebody who's not a TO, and then that person was tweeting about how like as an admin of the Facebook group they might just ban wobbling in Sacramento. And both of the TOs in our city were just like, wobbling is not banned at either of our events.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't like that approach to it, and that's how I feel about the council. And is like if people express that that's like ultimately what really wants to happen and the community shows that, then that's a discussion to be had. But to like go out and like think, I don't know. That's what that's how I feel about the council in a like more localized example of it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard for me to like I agree with that approach like theoretically, but it's also just like look at what happened in Toronto like with Nightmare. Like he's still I'm pretty sure he's not banned from his own scene. So it's like you're
But what's going to
asking,
fix that though? That
well,
happened
that's
with
the
the
thing. It's
council
like
who banned him.
it's like if you I just don't see how I don't understand why a local like trusting a local scene is inherently better, other than the fact that like they actually know their players and things like that. But it's also just like
It's not like necessarily even trusting him, and like the TO of like Genesis still has Nightmare banned. You know what I mean? So it's like it's still up to the TO of every event. So like you at least keep him there if that's where the people are letting him be, and that's like you have to like hope that like as you see every other event ban him. Like if your event's still not banning him, it's like it's kind of rough. Like I agree, but I don't really see how you can get around that if like local scenes are keeping players unbanned, especially if that's already happening when like there's pseudo national bans on them already. It is like it's like it's shitty to see things like that, and I think that'll always like be an issue at the end of the day. But it's like I don't think that I don't know you're never going to be able to get rid of it ultimately, but I just think it's you appease more people and you get better results in the end if you try and put the onus on the community and the leaders of the community each rather than a random leader. And then you lose a lot of leadership once that group loses trust, like they did with the council and mafia.
I think that what the council is trying to do is commendable in that they're trying to protect people's identities. I think that when it comes to something like wobbling or I don't know how long you think a tournament, like how long you think a game should be, whether it should have a 7-minute timer or an 8-minute timer, that it's okay to ask your community for input in the form of like a Facebook poll or something like that. But if we're talking about, you know, getting somebody banned for sexual harassment or something like that, that requires a lot of information to be divulged to the public in order for them to decide on something like that. And I think that what the council is trying to do is like protect people from that type of wild speculation and protect victims from potentially having to relive their trauma by recounting every little detail for strangers to consume in order to come to some decision about whether a person should be banned. So I think that's like one potential pro. I don't know that the council did the best job of um, protecting the victims and everything in this specific case, but I think that's like what they're aiming to do.
I just want the council to be known. I like, if that makes sense. Like, I want to know if like it's Sheridan, Boback, Bartle, like running the council. Not necessarily what they talk about, but like then that's like giving your trust as a community. You can then say like we as NorCal are okay with like so and so speaking like on our behalf on these matters. You know what I mean? To an extent, more. Yeah. I did the anonymity of the group itself, the council itself, is what I would like overturned, not the anonymity of the inner dealings per se, because that is definitely a valid point for sure.
Yeah, I think Dr. Piggy and I think Sweet D are like the only people I know who have like come forward and said like who they are on the council, because I don't think it's not required for them to be anonymous. Like if they want to, they can just say who they are, but I think they would rather just I honestly I don't know, that's another thing that I'm concerned about as well. It's like these people are supposed to be representing us, but I have no idea who most of them are. It's like very disconcerting. And it's one of those things where like I can't make a guess at why they've decided to do it that way, other than they just want to like protect themselves from getting flamed.
Yeah, which is definitely valid. But I think it comes like with the role.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you volunteer something like
I'm pretty
that,
sure I know who one of those other people is.
I don't want to like out people
definitely
on the podcast or anything.
No.
But like,
but yeah, I'm pretty sure I know like at least one of the others. But yeah,
chilling, dude.
That's
totally no. There's zero.
I don't envy them to have that much responsibility because like I am very lucky in that I just get to come stream and I have almost zero responsibility. Even though
dude, Nate, we have so much fun.
Yeah, we're just having fun. That's it.
We like talk into a microphone and like make videos sometimes and play.
That's it. We just get to goof around. So other people are like concentrating really hard on playing or making big decisions that affect people.
And see, like I'm trying to concentrate really hard on playing also, and I found a good like dichotomy of being able to like balance both, and it's just giving me a better mentality for the game, which is like helped me than like being an omega tryhard. Like you can be an omega tryhard without being like salty or like not allowing yourself to do other things too, which was like the balance you have to find. But we're about to be taking those drug fox lessons, and we're about to play a lot.
Drug fox lessons. What about Sleepy K? Sleepy K is really smart.
So I've thought about Sleepy lessons too. It's just like Zayd already takes drug fox lessons, and he like lives right next to me.
I miss Sleepy K. Like, he says he's not traveling. We need to make this whole like van / bus situation happen so we can go visit Sleepy.
I'm a Sleepy sub.
Are you?
Yeah.
Dune is in the chat.
I saw him at Genesis, and I got my first Duna picture.
Nice.
It was very exciting.
Forgot to get one.
He's like always happy to take the Duna picture.
Oh no, yeah, here we go. Okay. I'm not going to put a Duna, but I'm going to put a different one.
It's getting super late for me.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna have to go soon because I need to go watch The Bachelor tonight.
Yeah, I need to go get horizontal and rest up because I'm working like 6 days in a row after this.
Oof. Good luck.
Or no, I have Friday off, but I'm doing the maid.
Ooh, that'll be fun. I'll see you then. Camp out part 2.
That's right. Journey, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Everybody go follow Going on a Journey just like it is right here on the screen right now.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
on
also
my stream title if you're watching the stream.
I'm also I'm on Twitter, and that's the same as my Twitch. So follow me on Twitch too.
Awesome, yeah. Follow, sub.
Or if you're watching like
Good
Ludwig
Curious
Ogren
Cat,
Gaming or Slime
Good Curious Cat
or Hugs86, we'll be in the chat too. Probably be there making jokes in the chat.
Or if you're watching Trashman, you'll see me.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.